Alright everybody, welcome back to your mat. We're going to start in a seated pose, recrossing the legs if we need to, drawing in deep breaths, allowing our hands to be on top of our thighs, palm up. Will be okay signs for most of this practice. This practice coming to you today, a bit of a higher pace, a little more endurance, and some try and fail at the end where we'll look at handstands, we'll look at an inversion or two. Start by circling the arms up above our heads, raising the fingertips first, then the heels of the hands, separating the knuckles, sliding down towards our chest, and we'll bow to enter our practice for today. And we're going to send them on through, flexing at the knuckles. We're going to wash the arms up our sides again a few times, joining at the fingertips. That's our inhale. Our exhale comes now, flexing at the knuckles, washing them on up one more time. Sliding on down the chest through the heart center and back up. We're going to twist to our right now, left hand behind the right knee, right hand behind our low back. And on an inhale, we're going to raise our arms back up to the center. And twisting towards our left, right hand behind our left knee, left hand behind our low back. And raising the arms back to the center. Big open palms looking forward for a cross-legged child's pose. Try to get nice and low. Walk those fingers forward if you can. We can raise our side to side, scanning maybe the right shoulder up and then the left, opening up our side body early. We're going to be twisting today, getting into our hips, so any little movement you can do will help you as we transition over to our tabletop, knees under hips, hands under shoulders, and we'll look for these cat and cows right away. Looking up with the tailbone in our gaze, dropping our navel, exhaling, raising the spine. Inhale, bring the ground towards you, drop your navel, raise your tailbone, head, neutral tabletop, and back down. We're going to extend the left arm and right leg long, keeping those pointed towards the floor, facing towards the floor. We'll hold this position for just one moment, and we'll cross the leg over top, reaching on through, putting our left ear towards the floor, right leg over top of our left. On our next inhale, when you're ready, we're going to come out of this position, left arm long, right leg long, and back to the floor. We'll take a child's pose if we need it here. A couple more side raises if they feel like appropriate for us, and then back up to tabletop if you haven't left this position. Back to a few cat and cows, and then we'll get ready to extend one more time. Right arm long, left leg long, toes pointed towards the ground, gaze pointed towards the ground, and in a moment our left leg is going to cross over our right arm through the space between our body, putting our right ear towards the floor when we're ready, and we'll do this now, reaching on through, ear to the ground. Each movement you take, try to move with the breath in the pose, try to breathe easy. And on an inhale, we're going to come on up. Dropping our knee, dropping our hand. We're going to reposition a couple movements. We're going to walk ourselves up, bent knees, hanging heavy at the hips. Let our head fall loose, our hands are touching the ground. Whatever kind of bend we need to let our hands touch the floor just barely, and we'll slowly begin to rise. Staying bent over our knees. Long legs flat back, looking forward for that half lift, palms under knees. Big exhale, look for the floor, forward fold. Washing up towards our mountain pose, reaching the hands up above our heads first, down to our sides for the mountain. And back up. I'm going to step back with the left leg, looking for warrior one. A mild warrior today, the knee not being past that front foot, so the front knee, the front foot are even. Arms straight up above, facing forward on our mat. We're going to step back forward, bringing the hands on down, and back up. Stepping back with the right leg, making sure that the left knee isn't passing the left ankle, looking for warrior one, facing straight forward with the hips. And stepping up and bringing the arms down for another mountain pose. We're going to pitch forward now, looking for chair, sending the arms forward. I try to look down in my chair poses. Whatever feels good on your neck is what you want to do. We're going to bring the hands together to pray, and we're going to look for a twist towards our right. This left elbow can go wherever it needs to. It's more important to try to keep your knees even than force that elbow past them. So for me, this is very humbling. My elbow doesn't go far, but it feels good for me to do it. So this is as far as my practice allows me to go. A few more breaths, and we're going to wash them on out, back to chair. Back to prayer. And we'll twist towards our left. Right elbow will be making its way across the knees if it can. If the knees feel like they're not going to stay even, you can leave that right elbow just above your right knee, facing towards your left. And we're going to wash out to chair pose one more time. Forward fold, plant the hands. We're going to step on back with just the left leg. Leave the left arm planted. We're raising the right arm, twisting towards our right. You can reach behind our low back if we want, or you can leave your hand facing up towards the sky. And bringing the arm on back down. Here we go. Stepping back with the right leg fixed to a down dog. And we're going to step up with our left leg, leaving the right arm planted. We're going to raise our left arm facing towards our left. Okay sign if you want to. Long extension from our foot to the top of our head, trying not to be lazy with our necks. Reaching behind the low back if we want to, or leaving it in the air, whatever's in your practice. Anything you don't feel comfortable with, you can skip. Find a child's pose or downward dog. We'll bring the arm back to the floor, sending the leg back. We'll find downward dog one more time. Pedal the legs out a bit if we need to. We're going to wash, get tall on the toes, pitch ourselves to that high plank. Slow push up towards the floor, find our first up dog from the tops of our feet, tall in the shoulders. Couple of tilts side to side, small movements all the time. Moving your body as much as possible, tucking our toes, sending our butt up high for our downward dog. Loosen our neck. High in the toes, washing forward to the high plank. Slow push up towards the floor, looking for our up dog from the tops of the feet. And our butt raises up, right leg up for the three-legged dog. Little movement in the ankle, bend our knees, and we're going to send it off to the side. We're going to try to kick our right leg to our left side behind our back, letting our right arm float in the air. We're not going to touch this wild thing down quite yet. We're going to see if we can float this one, and we're going to go ahead, take our leg, kick it on through to the blade of our foot, face the floor, feel a mild twist in our right hip. We're going to kick that leg on back for another three-legged dog. Pitching forward for the slow blank to the floor, three legs if you can. Up for the up dog. Next we'll get to our three-legged dog, left leg long. We're going to go ahead and take this left leg, and in a moment after we move the ankle, we move the knee. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to take this left leg pointed towards our right, let the left arm come up off the ground. We're going to float here for a moment, blade of our foot, we're strong. And our hand finds the floor. We're going to kick this leg on through to the blade of our foot, facing forward now. Mild twist in our left hip. and kick it on back for our three-legged dog. Small movements if you'd like. We're going to find our three-legged plank here. Foot down, slow trip towards the floor for the up dog, tops of our feet. And we're going to start to walk our feet back up to the front of the mat, big bend in those knees. Hold our elbows. We're just going to be loose here for a minute, let our arms and our head hang. Let the arms fall loose, let them fall long. Straighten out your legs, palms up the shins, looking forward for that half lift. And back down. Try to raise those toes if you can. Sliding up the shins, looking forward for a long spine half lift. Exhale back down, looking for the floor. Looking forward, long spine, half lift. We're going to step back with our left leg, wash the left arm up over. We're looking for warrior two, making sure that our heels are even. Our front knee is not lazy, pointing out towards our center. Check everything, no shame in looking at your feet, making sure that it's all where it needs to be. This way you can make the proper adjustments. We're going to flip the front hand up, leaning backwards, taking the right arm, looking for our low back this time, reaching above our head with the right arm, strong in our necks. You can touch your head if you want to. Keep the arms making this S shape, leaning back. We're going to swivel on forward, right elbow to right knee, reaching up above our head, strong necks. So when we have one long line from our heel to our fingers, if you like the bind, you can take your left arm, it goes behind your low back, the arm travels up under your leg, grabbing an S grip behind your right thigh, trying to look up, raising your chest back to the ceiling in this bind. As always, you can always skip positions like this and stay where they just came from. Wherever you are, we're going to plant our hands and take a bit of a counter twist here, left arm towards the floor, raising our right arm facing towards our right. And we're going to step on forward, forward fold with a big bend in those knees. Long spine, half lift. And down. Exhale. Sliding up the shins, we're going to look forward, long spine, flat back. We're going to step back with that right leg, watching the right arm up and over. Warrior two. We're going to look down, take a gaze at our knee, our heel, our body, and get ourselves in nice alignment. Real mellow positions today, leaning back. Left arm raises, right arm looks for our low back. And when you're ready, we're going to swing on, pass through warrior two, and back to left elbow on our left knee, reaching up with the right arm. And as always, as the spine comes up here, you can choose to take it or you can leave it alone. For the other side, we're going to take this arm that's up in the air, it goes behind our lower back. The arm that's pointing towards the floor is under our thigh, while locking an X grip behind our left thigh, looking up towards the ceiling, raising our heart center towards the ceiling. Always take your time coming in and out of positions like this. Opening them up, planting on the floor, taking that counter twist towards our left now, right hand planted, left arm high, looking towards our left side. And we'll take a trip on back to the floor with both hands. Stepping forward, forward fold. Swing the arms back, coming forward for chair. And back down, forward fold. Big bend in those knees. We're looking for a crow here. You can skip the crow, jump the legs on back and take your flow, or you can sit up here with me and float for a second. Soft landing in those toes, a slow push up towards the floor, getting high for the up dog. We're about halfway through our practice now, coming down to our downward dog. We're going to kick the right leg on high, stepping on forward. Extend that leg long. We're going to stay bent over a straight leg on forward. We're not going far here. This is a small position to do, but one that feels just as good as any other. And we're going to put a big bend in that knee back, plant our hands, kick the right leg on back, a little bit of movement, plant those toes, a little bit of a wash to our high plank, and back to downward dog with the left leg long. Swivel the knee, step on forward between our hands, straighten out the left knee, come up and back down, looking to touch the floor even if it'll never happen. Small movement with a big stretch. And we're going to plant our hands, kick that left leg long, small movements, back to our plank. Low butt raises high for our downward dog. We're going to take a trip up to the front of our mat, hop, step, or jump. We're going to come to our half lift, forward fold. We're going to plant those hands, step on back, drop our knees. We're going to take a child's pose, wide knees, our feet are under our butts, our arms are reaching long, maybe not resting, but reaching, pushing the ground away from us, trying to get low, low, low. Wide, wide fingers, super engaged the whole time. And we're going to hinge on forward here, bringing our left leg forward, left heel pointing towards our right hip. We're looking for our pigeon pose, both hands flat in the ground, energized, strong arms this whole time, resisting the ground away from us, dropping our hips to the floor, looking forward with a big chest, with a big gaze. We're going to go ahead, if we want to, is pick up this right leg and grab it with our right arm. When we feel strong, gripping the floor with our left toes, we're going to start to raise our left arm with the OK sign, finding a mermaid for just one moment. Now don't be afraid to lose your balance. If you feel like you have to help yourself, please do. Realize that you're doing more than if this weren't be happening at all. And so this is all a benefit, no shame in that. We're going to keep our arm up for as long as we can. And when you're ready, you can find the floor with your grips. Both hands are on down, right leg long, gripping the floor with those toes. We'll kick this leg back, we'll find a little bit of movement, find the floor, and forward comes our right knee, the right heel pointing towards the left hip, and we're back into pigeon on the other side. Big strong grips on the floor. When you're ready, the same thing on this side. We're going to repeat with what we just saw. When you're ready to reach back and find your foot, by all means, this is your practice. Please take it at your own time. If you'd like to skip the pose, you can stay here, or you can find child's pose or downward dog. We're going to reach back with the left hand grabbing the left heel, and we'll be stable before we go to leave the floor. Reaching on up with our right hand, we'll try to find the OK sign. Maybe not a stretch for the hand, but another place for intention. And when you're ready, we'll drop our foot, plant our hands. Gripping the floor with our toes, we're going to help ourselves up back to plank. However you'd like to, we're going to make our way to our backs now. You're going to lay on your back, your feet are going to be on the ground, knees even together. Small windshield wipers. Time to get adjusted with the new position as we move forward to the last phase, second to last phase of our practice. And we'll start to swivel our knees side to side, whatever feels good. Maybe it feels nice to go short and then start to let the knees fall to the side for a bit longer as you do this. Be forgiving to your body. Each and every day is different. Sometimes I think about my hands, whether I'm palm up, ready to give, or if I'm palm down, ready to receive everything from the earth. So when you're ready, we're going to come back to a neutral position. We're going to put our right heel on the back of our left knee, and we can use our hand to adjust. And we're just going to let this leg sit loose, and we're going to be gripping our knee with the blade of our foot, trying to open up our right knee to be even with the other leg once more, with our right heel on top of our left knee. As you're in this position, you'll find that it'll open up more, so adjustments are totally wonderful to take. Try to see if you can ask a little bit more out of the position each time that you're in it, but be forgiving if it feels like it doesn't want it. Either way, we're going to start to heel toe towards our right, letting our right foot touch the ground on the outside of our left knee. For those of you who know me, we're not going to be taking the arm balance this time. We're going to be laying here, looking to grab our ankles in a moment. So if you feel like this is tight enough, you can stay here. If you feel like you want to look for another way to release some tension in your body, we're going to start to look down and find grips on the tops of both of our ankles, both of our feet. And the goal is to try to have our shoulders flat on the ground, try to have our hips square. So we're really feeling this on our hips now. This is great for tight quads. This is great for building up grip strength, whether it be for grappling, whether it be for yoga, whether it be for life. We're going to open up our grips now. We're going to circle towards our left side, come to our right elbow. We're going to sit up here, and we're just going to hug our right leg with our right arm, trying to face forward, and really feel this in our right hip. Places like this, it's good to check in with your breath. Make sure we're breathing nice and evenly. We're not holding our breath through any of these positions. And we're going to swing on back down the same way that we got there. We'll fix our legs back to our hips being flat and kick up towards the sky with our right foot. As it comes towards the floor, we're just going to switch them. Right foot to the ground, left foot up above now on the back of our right knee. Some small readjustments can take place about now if you'd like to readjust that leg. We've been here for a minute now. And we'll heel towards our left, dropping our left foot towards the right on the outside of our right knee. And we're going to lay flat for a moment. In the comment section, let me know if any of your animals want to come greet you while you're doing yoga. I find that always happens for me. We're going to reach and grab our ankles if it's available to us in our practice. Sometimes deep connection animals feel that. As Chipotle here is feeling it. We're looking for our ankles, trying to lay flat. And up onto our right elbow, we're going to sit up now, hugging our left leg with our left arm, sitting up nice and straight, feeling this in our left hip now. I try to always flex my toes in positions and moments like this to ask all the effort from my body that I'm able to give to get the most out of my practice, where 30 minutes can start to feel like 60. And we're going to come back to our elbow, laying flat on our backs. Kicking up high towards the sky with our left foot, we're going to bring it on down. So we're going to sit to our butts now. We're going to sit butterfly for a moment, bottoms of our feet together with our butts on the ground. This position right that we're in right now, you can stay here with your fingers pointing away, sitting up straight. You can stay right here. You can grab your feet if you want to through the inside of your thighs, or you can take it further. This position is nice to really open up and kind of have a bit of a relaxation after the tight stretching we just did. So again, you can stay right here, or we're going to look to push our butts up off the ground, leaning forward for another pause in this whole series here. Right now our butts are off the ground, we're leaning forward, keeping the weight of our shoulders just past our hips. Again, you can stay here, the position before, if it begins to feel uncomfortable. We're going to drop our heads forward now, moving all the weight of our body forward past, feeling a flex in our ankles now, strong on the blades of our feet. Walking the hands around the sides now. Once you make it to the front, we're going to be strong, resist away, and look for prayer hands. You can stay here, you can look forward, you can rest your hands on top of your knees, but if we're looking for prayer, now's the time. And palms at the floor. We're going to gently come out of this position, step on our feet back, pedal them out, look for space in those toes, really mild mountain climbers, knees to the floor. Swivel those ankles if you want to, find some space. Any last movements you think you want to take, now's a really good time. A couple swivels here, hips side to side, sip of water, anything you need. So our head's going to be about here now. We're looking for some inversions. Our head comes down, the top of our head flat to the ground. Try to keep those elbows square, 90 degrees, and we're going to walk our feet forward if we can to really try to take some of that flex out of our body. Tall in those toes first. Our hips are more over our shoulders. We're going to bring those legs straight up for this tripod, pointing the toes if you can. And for an extra challenge on the way down, we're going to do it as slow as humanly possible, trying to see if we can maybe make our legs create 90 degrees to our torso, straight legs on the way down. If you can get to 90 degrees, pause there for as long as you can. So we're going to try and fail a few things here. There's no shame in trying to see where you're at for each piece of practice. Even if you can't exactly do it, it makes no difference. Because if you never try, you're never going to know. If you don't try, you can't develop things. For me, this one was tough. The headstand, we're going to put our hands behind our head, backs of our forearms, top of our head down. Same place on our head as we had before. We're going to kick ourselves on up. You can walk your feet so that your hips are higher up above your shoulders if you'd like to. For me, I found that I like to split my legs. Try a few times, see if you can get yourself up here. It's going to take effort, but eventually you'll find the weight of your legs will help you stay up. And then you can be wide at first to control them, and eventually bringing the knees together, the feet pointed towards the ceiling as much as you can. And here we are with our headstand. I like to open and split the legs on down. We'll land, try to be graceful. If you can, for the sake of being clean to your toes. And so now we're going to stretch around looking into this downward dog type of position here. Couple last movements. Now just kick yourselves on up. Strong arms. Don't even look for the handstand. Kick your legs up. Find new ways to get there around the back, just like your cat and cows. Strong fingers. Try to be up on those first. Kick the legs on up. We really want to leave them split. Don't worry about your handstand. Just have some fun. Jump around. See what it takes to keep your body up there with your legs, and eventually you'll find yourself being up there for longer. Your wrists won't mind it as much. If your wrists are bothering you, don't do this, of course. But the next step towards your handstand is to see what it's like to be upside down. If you're not in child's pose already, let's get to there. And we're going to get to our backs. Here we are. Backs flat in the ground, knees side to side. You've done it. It's good to try to fail. It's good to see where you are. One day you'll have the handstand, one day you will not. It makes no difference. The only thing that matters is that you try. We're laying on the ground now, palms open, giving back. Excellent work, everybody. Let's hug our knees into our chest right here, flexing those toes, looking between our ankles, side to side, using the floor to massage our bodies. And feet back to the ground. We'll fall to our right side now, in that fetal position, getting ready to be reborn back in the world, feeling much better. So we can get back to the cross-legged position that we began our practice with. And we'll get ready to wash our arms on out. Circling them high above our heads, joining our fingertips. Sliding the hands on down to the heart center. Namaste.